God bless you, Zion. This is Apostle McRae. Real talk, let's talk. Straight talk, let's talk. What the church is not talking about. I'm just so excited to be here tonight. I got my son with me. You all know Kenneth Smith, Master Life Coach. And this is my goddaughter visiting here from West Palm Beach. We're just going to talk. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about relationships. Is he or she worth it? And we're just going to do a continuation. Why Tandy B is here visiting with us today. We just want to just talk about relationships. All of us have relationships, whether it be husband, wife, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, and even some of us go through with our friends. Some of us go through with family members. So we're just going to talk about relationships and what's going on with relationships, especially in this pandemic. A lot of us have friends that we think are our friends. A lot of us have friends that we'll do stuff for them, but they'll never do it for us. So a lot of us have friends that have betrayed us. So we just want to sit and just evaluate friendship. Should we keep it? Should we let it go? Should we walk away? Just friendship. We said last week, is he or she worth it? So I'm going to talk about friendship. Even with, I always say, family may not always be friends, but friends could be family. So then we ask, is he or she worth it? Is that girlfriend worth it? Is that boyfriend worth it? Is that sister like a sister worth it? Is that brother like a brother worth it? Is he or she worth it? I'm going to start it off with my son today, Kenneth, Master Life Coach, Kenneth Smith. Let him open it up and then we'll let Tandy come in. Is he or she worth it?
Hey, I'm glad to be on here with my mom and our special guest tonight. We just so overwhelmed and so happy to be back here on live with you guys. Hopefully we find you safe and living your best life. You know, in this pandemic, we've had a lot of time to sit down and think about the people that's in our life, that's coming in our life, that's been in our life, and that we may need to help walk out our life. And whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's somebody you're dating, somebody, God forbid, that you're married to. We'll spend so much time of our life investing in people that's not worth the value of our life. We just because we don't want to be lonely, just because we don't want to feel like we are the black sheep of the family, we will entertain stuff that we know is beneath who we are. And I want to challenge you tonight to sit closely and listen in very closely to what we have to say so that you could be able to rightfully divide who should be in your life and who's wasting your time. It's important that you don't get so engaged with a person that you can't shift them when it's time to be shifted. Listen, even the Bible says to everything there's a time and a season. And we know that family is family, but there's a time that we have to shift and not get rid of them as family per se, but know how to move from entertaining their company so that we could live our best life and go on to do things that maybe they don't want to go on to do. So I want you to really sit closely, and when we get through, I want you to evaluate your life and see if this person or these people bringing value to your life, or whether they are dragging you through the mud, and whether you're wallowing with pigs. So I want you to definitely sit closely. We're gonna let our guest say something on how she see family and how she see entertaining people. How easy it is to entertain people that may not be bringing value to your life. So I want to introduce to you all our special guest, all the way from West Palm Beach. We're going to let her tell you her name and how she view it.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Tandy B. And like, Mom said, I'm from West Palm Beach and visiting special guest on tonight. So my thoughts and view on the subject matter is that I know that during this pandemic, it has been challenging for so many of us, but I think during this pandemic, a lot of us have had an opportunity to kind of take a step back and reevaluate some of the relationships that we have, whether they are with family, whether they're with friends or people who we thought were friends who should be more in the category of acquaintance or associate, and even those that we have intimate relationships with, whether it be a husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. I think that the pandemic has shed light for a lot of people on who's really there for them, who's really in their corner, and who they really need to probably disassociate themselves with, that's not adding value, but really just kind of bringing them down. I think it's important for us to really kind of assess the relationships that we have with people, because sometimes we get comfortable and we become complacent in certain situations, and we allow ourselves sometimes without even realizing that we're letting people abuse, and misuse us, and mistreat us, because that's what we have become, we got used to. But this is a time and a season that I think that, the Lord is allowing a lot of us to really kind of reevaluate to see which direction we need to go with some of the friendships that we're entertaining in our lives.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we have to realize that it take a while sometimes when we realize that we're in a relationship and we're invested, even if it's a friendship. Sometimes it's hard, and maybe when you suffer rejection, it's hard to walk away from a relationship when you realize that you are the giver. When you realize you're the person that's always doing. And even with a friendship, sometimes I was telling my son that I had a friend, if I said hot, she said cold. I had a friend that, every time if I was paying for the meal, it was fine. But if I wasn't paying for the meal, they paid for their own meal. A lot of times people don't have to tell you that they're your friend. They show you they're your friend. But a lot of times we don't want to see that, especially when we invest in folk, when we find ourselves that I'm always that person there for you, but you're never that person there for me. And even I was telling my son, we're as mothers, we're protective of our kids. We need friends that are protected. A lot of times, if you got a friend that's so easily to jump to the other side when you in trouble, or you in a situation that they're not going to have your back and stand with you, whether you be right or wrong, it lets you know that you need to evaluate that friendship.
Right. I totally agree. And I ran into situations to whereby I've had friends, and one thing I really can't stand, I don't know if y'all ever had this, but you have people that expect you to call them and check on them all the time.
Oh God!
And then when you you may miss 2 or 3 days from talking to them, and then they'll call you first, and then be like, "Oh, I was checking to see if you still alive." When the whole time,
can I pause for a minute? When it get juicy, y'all, real talk, let's talk. Straight talk, let's talk. When it get like that, can we do let's not get so serious. But we all got that friend to say, I haven't heard from you lately. But I always say, your phone rings just like mine.
Just like mine.
Ways, yes.
That's right. But that's normally a sign.
Yes.
That's normally a clear sign right there on what type of friend you got.
That's true.
Sometimes, there are one-sided relationships. Like my mom used to always say, if you call a person, they don't never call you. You like them and they don't like you. If you visit them and they don't never visit you, you like them and they don't like you. But I do have friends that don't visit, but I know they like me. But I do have some friends that they can't never do nothing for you. They ain't never got nothing for you. God ain't gonna never tell them to bless you. And you could just pour into them. You could just sow into them. But they never have you in their thoughts.
Right.
They never have you on their mind. They ain't gonna never say, well, I just woke up today and I want to be a blessing. That's just like people coming to your house. They always gonna come to your house with no food.
Yeah.
And they always gonna eat your food, but they ain't gonna never invite you out. Yes. And then even when you go out, I had some friends that I'm always inviting you, but when I get out, I see you with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard walking away from folk, but I had to come to realize there were some folks I loved, but I had to realize they did not love me like that. I loved them, but they didn't love me. Why? Because it was evidence. It was evidence in their actions. And sometimes we don't want to see that. It's evidence in their action. Even with people. This is my son. Is he perfect? No. But you ain't going to be able to call me about him. And a good friend ain't going to let nobody put nothing in their ear about you. They're going to redirect it or they're going to shut it down.
Right.
And that's how it should be.
Right. And that's one of my major struggles is walking away from people that I know is toxic, but they come across to be in need. I don't know if you understand. What I mean is, if you may have a friend that's struggling financially.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling financially. And you know that they, even if they had it, they wouldn't do the same for you. But
can we do the real talk? Let's talk. Straight talk. Let's talk. What the church ain't talking about. What he said is, you got a friend that if they were in a situation, you would give them your last. But if you was in a situation and they had a whole lot, they would let you have the white mouth.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give you anything. Are they waiting for you to ask? If you don't ask, they ain't gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
they'll find it, and then you got the ones that piggyback off the fact that you're a Christian and you got a good heart, and deep down on the inside, they just looking to use you or anybody else that come along, cause they got a history of doing this.
Yes.
And what we try to do is change people's history. We can't change their history. That's what they've been doing. That's their DNA. A pig wallows them up because it's his nature.
Amen.
You put a donkey in that mud, he gonna cry.
Right.
Wow.
You know. So it's his nature to wallow. It's their nature to use people. It's their nature to always want people checking on them. It's their nature to always want people giving them. I got a friend. I got a close friend, like a brother, that I often have to tell, you shouldn't always want to be in a position to receive. You shouldn't always want to be the person that somebody got to give to. You shouldn't. I get tired of him always saying, man, such and such, bless me with this and bless me with that. I want to know when the last time you blessed somebody. And I often tell him, people bless me a lot in my last season. This season, God has called me to be the blessing. This season, God has called me to be in position to give. Why? Because I don't want to be the person that's sitting around hoping and depending that somebody could pay for my food. I don't want to be the one that needing somebody to pay my light bill. I want to not be in the same place I was last year in need, in lack. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want a blessing. I'm just saying that I want to be just as much of a blessing as I am blessing people.
Can I say something about that though? Okay, so even in this situation, I find that some ratchet friends, they are a blessing, but they never a blessing to you. You know, they're going to give that blessing. Just like I got some friends, I would feed them, but they weren't feeding me. And then I would get the Golden Corral, and they sat at the table. They sat at the table with their friends. So sometimes they'll say, I am blessing. But all the things that you may have done for them, they ain't going to never see that they need to do it for you. I had you on my mind today. I wanted to bless you. Have you ever had a friend that as long as they were riding in your car, they never offer gas?
Right.
But if you rode in their car, even though they didn't ask you for no gas, if you offered it, they took it.
Yes.
Now, what type of friend is that? Even though you didn't ask for that, but sometimes I trick you. Sometimes I'll offer you something just to see if you're going to take it.
That's the kind of friend that's going to always stay in need. They're going to always stay in need. I had a situation today to where I gave a person owed me, truthfully, like, I want to say about $10, right? And I owed them some money. Being a business owner, I had to pay them. I owed them, they paid me. Well, they owed me $10. In they pay, I mistakenly didn't give them the right amount of money. I gave them $10 short. I was $10 short. We was rushing. I was $10 short. So now mind you, they owed me 10. I thought I gave them the right amount of money, and I told them they didn't have to worry about the 10 that they owed me.
But they were going to make sure they got theirs.
When I left, they called me and told me that I didn't give them the right amount of money. In my mind, I said, well, man, they should have forgave that because they owed me that 10 and I gave them a break.
Right.
But God instantly spoke to me.
Most takers are like that, though.
Yeah.
They always want something, but they ain't going to never find a way to see, how can I be a blessing to you?
Right.
And God literally spoke to me and said, well, that's why they always in like. That's why they always in need, because you don't major on the small stuff. You're not majoring on the $10 that you gave away to them, but they're majoring on the $10 that you came up short. The same person, by the time I bought the $10 back, was broke from their whole check. And that was within 2 to 3 hours. So that's the same person that don't have a car, same person that's struggling. So I say that to say, it's amazing how, what I wanted to ask you was, what you might have blessed that person with or do for that person, are they able to do the same thing for you?
Sure. And then I know Kenneth laughing because he know how I am. I had to get to a point, and sometimes it's hard. Listen, viewers, sometimes it's hard to really get to the point to letting go of people that you really love. But when I realized that I loved a lot of people that liked me, I loved them, but they liked me. You know, I like you, but I don't love you for whatever reason. But I like you enough to take from you. I like you enough to call you when I'm in need. I like you enough to use you. It's hard sometimes when you have connected to a person, and it's like even with friendship, there's a soul tie even with a friendship. When you've had a friend for so long, you've been so connected. It's hard even with family members. You know, you got family members on call till they want something. They don't come around unless you could do something for them, and they don't even like you unless you're doing something for them. But when you love people, whether it's family, whether it's good friend, sometimes it's hard to walk away. But when you realize I was in it, but they were never with it. You see what I'm saying? I was connected to them. They weren't connected. You have to condition your mind. You have to condition your spirit that this is a toxic relationship. And it's time. When I see you, I'm going to love you. I'm going to talk to you every now and then. I ain't mad. I don't hate you. But I'm better than that. It's time for me to move forward. And you have showed me, especially when you've been in a relationship for years. And when I got a relationship that I've been in for years, I can't say nothing they ever done for me. But I can say some things I've done for them. I don't have nothing to even show that they ever done for me. But when you see them doing it for somebody else, you realize they didn't like you like that. They hung around you for what you had or what you could do or where you may even been going. Sometimes people hang around you for who you know, what you got, or where you may be even going. I'm not going to kick you to the curb just in case you get somewhere.
Talk a little bit about what she just said, that you said was good. You sound like you had...
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, Ma touched on some really good points when you said that, you know, you have family that will just come around only when they need something, or they only remember your number when they are in need.
If you ask them something, Tandy, they act like it's a death sentence. Well, I wanted you to ask me so I could tell you no. I wasn't gonna give you this here. What you mean? You know they want to reject you. They want to be in a position to tell you no. They want to see you down. But if you could do anything for them, you feel obligated that you got to do it.
And those are people that I like to call opportunists.
Opportunists.
You know, they see an opportunity that you can provide for them in whatever way it may be, whether it be making some type of a business connection, whether it be monetarily, but they see a way that they can use you for their personal gain, and that's where the opportunity is, but they're not genuine. The love that you have and have extended to them genuinely, that they don't have that. You know, and I think we definitely have to be able to identify that, because like you said, you know, that creates that toxic relationship, and it's not healthy. I have a girlfriend of mine who, over the years, I mean, this is going back many years, even to my teenage years, and she would always pop up when she was struggling, or she needed something, or she needed to, you know, a loan, or whatever it is that she may need. And every single time that she knocked on my door, I was always available. Knocked on my door, not in the literal sense, but anytime she called on me, I was there. And I came to realize, and this is recent, this is over the past year, she had asked me to do something for her, and I went ahead, and even though previously I've always been there, I've always given, and I've always loaned, and I've never asked back for it, even when she said she's going to pay back. Over the past, about a year ago, she came to me, she was in need, she asked me to do a favor for her. I did the favor, and then she disappeared again.
Mm.
And so I come to the realization, and I said, you know what? I can't blame her.
Mm.
I can't blame her for this behavior, because just like you said, if it walk like a duck and act like a duck, then it's a duck. This is her nature. This is who she is. She is accustomed to calling on people when she's in need and getting what she can get out of them and trying to suck them dry, and then she disappears. So I had to release that and relieve myself of that, and just kind of,
Take responsibility.
Take responsibility, exactly, for where I played a role in the relationship and allowing her to abuse me, because that is a sense of abuse, and just cutting off the relationship. So yeah, I think that, we just have to know when enough is enough, and when we're loving, we love them, but they're only liking, you know what I mean?
And not be guilty when, if it's years, or even if it's family, when you say enough is enough, and just walk away without being angry, without division, but just distancing yourself and going on your direction. A lot of times we feel beholden and we feel guilty when we make choices to say, I'm going to peel back. I'm going to back. This is enough. And even I'm kind of with family members that most of the time when they borrow, the word borrow means I'm not going to pay back. I came to borrow this, but that don't mean that I'm going to pay it back. And sometimes people are ask you for stuff like you're a millionaire, and they don't know where you're getting it from. They don't know how you're going to get it. If I say I'm going to borrow something till Friday, and then don't call you, don't return it, don't say nothing, and then got the nerve to get mad at you about your money.
Right. I learned a long time ago. I've been here for a long time, about 20 years in Georgia, and I learned that it's more better to teach a person to fish, give them a fishing pole than a fish.
Correct.
Because if I give you a fishing pole, you could fish and provide for your whole family.
That's right.
If I give you a fish, you're going to be back for another fish.
Correct.
Or you're going to tell me about how your family or your children or somebody need a fish as well as you. So I learned how to try to equip people with a fishing pole and teach them the skill of survival. Because sometimes just giving a person what they want ain't always what they need. And you, when you talked about some people, you might be you love somebody, and then somebody else just like you.
Right.
You know, I tell
you got to know the difference.
Yeah. There's a major difference when when you love somebody, you genuinely love somebody, you're giving them everything you got, and you look at them. If they're not family, you look at them as family.
Right.
Ain't nothing you wouldn't do for them, you know. But when they just like you, then you could see the difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You could totally see the difference. We put on blinders, and we make excuse for people sometimes that's not giving us what we rightfully deserve in return. We make an excuse for our spouse. Sometimes we'll make an excuse for our children. Just because they're your children, your blood child or whatever, don't mean, or your mother sometime, or your father, don't mean that they naturally love you. Sometimes a spirit get on them, something come across them, and you'll wind up pouring out everything. I had times with my son to where I found myself giving and wasn't even getting a happy Father's Day or a happy birthday on my birthday, you know. But anytime he called, I was giving. Anytime he needed or wanted, I was giving. And people will look at you as just a resource.
Correct.
You know, they won't look at you as a human, as somebody that they should respect and love, and
just what you could do for them.
Just what you could do for them. And when your well run dry, or when you drop the well and cut it off, you find out who they are.
And then they distance themselves.
Absolutely.
Real talk, let's talk. Straight talk, let's talk. What the church is not talking about. I find that sometimes we have to realize that I came to this year, 2021. I'm not chasing nobody that don't want to be called. I'm not calling nobody. I'm not visiting nobody. I'm not running down nobody. Sometimes we try to make people be in a position in our lives that they don't want to be. And this is not the season. I thank God for all the God sisters I got, because sometimes even the blood, the ones that's not God sisters, are more closer to you than the blood. But when you got sisters that you got to compete with, that ain't no more for me. Yes. You got sisters you got to fight with, that ain't no more with me. You got sisters that they intimidated or jealous. And then you could say, you're not jealous and you're not intimidated, but you always fighting me. Mm-hmm. I'm not fighting no more. Because if you can't come and be a peacemaker, and it's always a conflict, it's always a fight about what I do, and I ain't fighting with you about what you do. Yeah. Just do what you do. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody got their own anointing. But when you find you always got to be in some kind of discombobulation about who you are and what you do, and when you're with people that don't even know you, they embracing you. But the people that do know you, they got to find a reason why it ain't working, you know. And when you say hot, they say cold. It don't take nothing to tear a person down, but it takes strength to build them up. And I know when my god sister grandson died, I was in a terrible situation, and I was just looking for anybody. I didn't even tell y'all. I was looking for people to comfort me, because he was like my nephew, and I was going through, and nobody knew, and I had to come off and come back a little bit. And not only that, I was displaced with my house and all kind of stuff. And so when you look for your friend while you low, to say you can, you shall, you will go. But you know, with me being out downtown, oh girl, you doing too much. Oh girl, that's just too much. Oh girl, you stop. I needed someone to push me, because if I stopped, I might have never got back up. I didn't need anybody to tell me what I couldn't do. I needed someone to encourage me, because I was weak. And I know there were things I needed to do. And so I needed that strength on the back to say, go on, I got your back. But I felt like a lot of times people will stop you because it feels like it'll make it better for them. If I can stop what you're doing, it'll make it better for me. So I'm gonna try to paralyze you with, girl, sit down. Girl, you're doing too much. Girl, don't do this here. I really wasn't doing nothing at all. At that particular time, I wasn't really doing nothing. I had nothing going on. Nothing. Only the responsibility of the people that I was covering. But I was so broken at that time. Nobody really knew what I was going through. You know, it's just like losing a real family member, you know. And the disappointment that I got, that I didn't get nobody to undergird me. And I felt bad, Kenneth, because I'm always building people. Mm-hmm. I'm always strengthening people. I'm always undergirding people. And people think I'm Superwoman. So when I needed someone to tell me, I got you, I'm praying for you, go on, let God use you, we cover you in prayer. Because sometimes you can't stop when you got a responsibility. Sometimes you can't stop just because you're hurting. Because Pastor Hall, my spiritual father, told me this was a never-ending journey. So that means on a weary day I got to go. On a weak day I got to go. On a depressed day I got to go. On a crying day I got to go. On a broken day I got to go. If I would have stopped, Renee wouldn't have been able to get up. So I had to go for Renee's sake. Because, I mean, somebody had to cover her. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Right. That goes to the question I was going to ask the both of y'all. And that was basically, I guess that might have been yours. But I was going to ask, at what point did you realize, I don't know if you want to give a situation, but at what point did you realize that there was a situation where you was giving more than a friend you thought that would give it the same amount? You know what I mean? Like, at what point was it that you realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm giving more in this situation than I'm giving more than I'm receiving. I'm being used or I'm being taken advantage of. Was there a certain situation that was a breaking point for you to make you realize that this relationship is not working for me?
It's not balanced.
It's not balancing out. You know, that really opened your eyes.
Well, as relating to the situation that I was referring to earlier, I think that when it really kind of hit home to me and kind of, you know, what stuck out to me was the most recent, incident.
Oh, okay.
Where they asked me to make a purchase. And when I made the purchase, and I made the purchase, and I kept calling for them to come and pick up the items that they asked me to purchase because they were going through. And they were not responsive at all. And to me, it was just kind of like, okay, enough is enough. When I'm the one that's now going to have to take the stand to say, okay, I'm not going to allow this cycle to continue to repeat, because you're taking not only advantage of me, you're taking me for granted, and you're taking my kindness for weakness, because you tell me that you were struggling, you needed help, your son needed these, you didn't have the funds, and I went out of my way to get the items for you, but then you completely blow me off. If I needed something, and it didn't even have to be anything monetarily. There was a time that came where I just needed a friend. I just needed the friendship. And I was reaching out, and to no avail. There was never a return text or a phone call or anything like that. So that's when it really hit home to me. And I realized, okay, I am giving so much more. This person's coming to my home. They're there for Christmas. I'm cooking. I'm extending myself to her and her children. I'm being that friend. You're using my vehicle. When your vehicle is down, everything that I have done, I've never received, not even an ounce of it back. So, and it's not that that's what you go into a friendship looking for, but if nothing else, you want your friend to at least be there for you in your time of need. It could have just been to pick up the phone when I was going through, an emotional crisis. And I just needed a friend to be there to give me a listening ear.
Yes.
And you weren't there. You're never there.
Right. So you think your situation
I think a lot of times with me, I see it, but just kind of lay it up under the rug. I saw it, just didn't want to accept it. I saw where people would take advantage of me. It took last year for me to realize sometimes God will put you in a situation and he'll let you see. And I saw a couple of circumstances where, you see folks that they don't have your back like you got their back. They're not going to cover you like you cover them. And every opportunity they get to, especially like with you and I being in a spotlight, sometimes, especially when we're dealing with people, I always say this, Kenneth. If you get with people below you, they will suck the life out of you. If you get with people on your level, they will try to destroy you, kill you, and compete with you. You have to get with people above your level, and they'll pull you up. And a lot of times, those are the eagles. But when you get with people where you are, they looking to tell you what you ain't got, what you can't do. They looking to sabotage you. They looking to get with the enemy to conspire with you. They looking to pull whatever out. And it was last year somebody allowed me to see that. You would talk about me like a dog the first opportunity you got, whether it be true or not. And you looking to find fault in me. You looking to find something wrong with me instead of covering me and praying for me. And a lot of times, if I said something with this one particular friend, I could say it to you. Unless she agreed with it, you're going to make me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about. I could say, well, the Bible said the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. You're going to fight me over that scripture unless somebody else agreed that it is in the Bible. Because you're looking to find fault in me. You see what I'm saying? So I had to see stuff like that. And then I had to see that you like a viper, sucking the blood out of it. You see what I'm saying? You ain't come to bring joy. You didn't come to bring peace. And a lot of times they come just to see what you into now, what you're doing now, what you got now. Those are the folks that you have to realize their time is up, their season is up. Let them go on. They ain't love you when they was here, and they ain't going to love you when they leave. And a lot of times they're going to be on the sidelines. They ain't going to just close the door because they want to see if you're going to get somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the first time they hear something about you, they'll call you then because they want you to confirm what they don't heard about you.
Yeah.
To be true.
Yeah.
But we see it. We just don't want to deal with it. And even with family members. Sometimes I choose not to even fool up with family members because you don't call until it's something you want.
Now, I'm just going to say, I had, just to piggyback off of what you were saying about family members. So just recently, last year, I had a family member that was living with me. And they were completely fine and content with me paying all the bills and carrying.
Yes. Let's do it. You ever got that family? They ain't never got nothing. They can't never help you. And they quick to always say, I ain't got. But as long as you paying everything and you doing everything, they real good with it. Let's see this again.
Yes.
And they gonna always tell you, I ain't got.
They don't have.
They ain't never got nothing when it come to you.
Yeah.
They ain't never got nothing
never,
when it
never.
come to you.
Never.
But you can find them somewhere else eating McDonald's, somewhere else eating Burger King, somewhere else down the street. But when they come into you, the first thing they say is, I ain't got it.
Yep.
They don't have it.
And they'll post up on Facebook that they done bought drinks, crab legs, all that stuff.
But when it come to you, I ain't got it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe you don't got it because you don't have it for me.
That's it.
Yes.
That's
You
it.
want my money for you.
Yes.
Ooh, man, that's good.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think that gets me is when they flip the script on you and then try to make you feel bad
For where you at.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And we have to be careful to make sure that it don't work. You know, cause people they'll get mad. They'll try to make you feel bad for not helping them. You know, and make you feel like you know. Then
You're better than them now. You think you're better than me now. She don't got her house, and now she thinks she better than us.
Yep.
She don't want to be bothered with us. No, it ain't that. You're just tired.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to get to the place. I'm tired of the foolishness. I'm tired of it with you. I'm tired of it with that. I'm not gonna fight you no more. I'm not gonna struggle in this relationship no more. If it don't fit, don't force it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's so true. You know, I had so many situations with my family to whereby they get angry because I'm not giving them what they want. Mm-hmm. You know, they get angry, and then the thing that kills me, you forget about everything else I done did.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna never talk about that.
Yeah. Only thing you mad about is this last incident when I finally closed the door.
Yes.
Now I get no credit
For anything
else.
all the other things.
Yes.
All the other things. And then the other thing is when you start trying to blame me for your own decisions that put you in the situation you're in. Because that's what Mama said. You thinking that I'm better. You say I think that I'm better than you. You know, I'm not
they
better
mad
than you.
because of your success.
Yeah.
They mad because you worked the way you are.
Right.
You put an effort into where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You sold into where you want to go. So when you take the time to do the things, see, when we make choices with our money.
Yeah.
So if he choose to invest his money and you choose to play fool with your money, don't get mad because of what I did with my money. Because most of the time they got more money than we do.
Yeah.
But we choose to do more with our money. And now that we don't do more with our money, now you're mad. You're mad with the success. You're mad with the outcome of the choices that we made for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's just jealousy too.
Yes, jealousy.
You know?
Yeah.
Jealousy. And I just feel like, we're in a pandemic. Real talk, let's talk. And it's even in the church. A lot of times we see and we don't see. A lot of times we watch folks and we don't say. You can see how people really feel about you with the way they really entreat you. Yeah. And sometimes people don't understand. I'm seeing how you entreat me. And I look at some relationships and I can say, I was always a birthday, or always a this, or always a that. I can't say I got nothing in my house that you ever gave me. I can't ever say that you ever cashed up me. I can't say that you ever. I remember one time when I first started ministry, and this really let me know how some folks was. Pastor Wiggins, you remember Pastor Wiggins? Mm-hmm. Pastor Wiggins asked everybody for $7 to buy some chairs for my installation service. And I never said anything. But instead, what is $7? And most of these people had jobs. Instead of being so happy to give me those $7, just $7 per person, so we could buy these chairs for the ordination service. Honey, it wasn't like an agreement. It was like she asked them for $70 a person. Mm. That let me know right there. You didn't think I was going to make it. You didn't want to sow into me. You didn't want to help me. And you was just jealous. And a lot of times, Kenneth say, the Bible said, when you have it in your power to do good, don't shut up your bowels of mercy. And then say the love of God dwell within you. I've seen so many people that connect with me. They had it in their power to be a blessing. They had it in their power to do good. They had it in their power to do certain things for me. But they didn't. But they would allow me to do it for them. And even the little things, even with my books, they'll go out and buy somebody's book you don't even know. But the person...
But they don't support you.
It's a poor fraud. They don't... Like I was telling some of the folks, you'll listen to the video. And a lot of times too, Kenneth, people will watch your videos and they'll watch it from afar. They're not going to hit like and they're not going to share and they're not... It's jealous. But a lot of times folks will act up with you too. Because they don't talk about you to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they don't want that somebody else to know that they talking to you.
Yeah.
You ever had, I done dogged you out down the street, but I'm not going to let nobody know that I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about you to nobody because I don't talk about you. So I don't want no people to even know I'm with you. So you got friends like that where they don't dog you out. So I don't want to take a picture with you. Now I'll take a picture with everybody else. Now I ain't going to take no picture with you because I don't want nobody to see me on your Facebook page because I don't talk about you. You got them type of friends there too.
Yes.
I don't want nobody to see me in your car. I don't want nobody to see me at your house. I don't want nobody to know that I'm connected to you because I don't got with the enemy and conspired against you.
Yeah.
Real talk, let's talk. What the church ain't talking about. We need to identify the people in our lives so we'll know what players we got. It's bad when you got players and you don't know. There was a young king in the Bible. Everybody that was on his team, they conspired against him to kill him.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to know your team. Whether you expose them, whether you expose your team or not, you need to know your team. Because sometimes the people that's sitting at the table, they're conspiring to poison you. And you need to know it.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of us in our friendship, if you look through your friends list, you all got some kind of snake as a friend.
Oh,
Yes.
You got to know what kind of snake you got. You got to know what kind of snake you deal with. And you have to be educated on it because some snakes have rattle tails and they tail rattle to let you know that they're a snake. And if we overlook it know the rattle, they will bite us, which it could be very, very deadly. Some of your friends are rat snakes. They eat through whatever they can eat through. They not real dangerous, but they hang around and still will bite you if given a chance. We got to know what kind of snakes is in our garden.
Yes.
And some of them blend in with the grass, blend in with wood. They blend in wherever they could fit in at.
Wow.
So we got to know what kind we dealing with, cause you got the ones like Mama said a minute ago. They'll come over to your house and chit chat with you and talk with you behind closed doors, but they don't want to be seen with you in public.
Yes.
And that's a two-headed snake. So you got to know what you're dealing with. And I just think in this season in our life, with everything going on, we got to know what kind of people we got on our team. Yeah. We got to know what kind of people supposedly got our back. And you need to know whether your friend got your back before you're in a pandemic, before you're in a crisis, before you land up in the hospital, before you're in a situation to where you need somebody to oversee stuff that you got going on. Because the last thing you want to do is be in an emergency and find out who you thought was your friend really is not your friend.
And even to go into covenant with people. Sometimes, like in ministry, we go in partnership with people. And sometimes we partnership with people. Like with me, I'll take my name off of something that is original to give it to that person. I've given people my ideas and my creativity. They ain't going to give me theirs now. But they'll take my name and work it like it's theirs. I'm always trying to find a way how I can bless them, how I can build up their church, how I can do. The same hand that you don't bless them, they'll take and bite your hand off. Now, I don't bless you. I don't help you. And like the blind man said about Jesus when they came to him, he said, whether he be sent or not, I don't know. And they went to the mama and the daddy, and they were talking about Jesus. And the blind, and I feel that way with some folks. As much as I've done for you, whether he be sent or not, I don't know. All I know is I was blind and he healed me. And there's some folks that, the first opportunity, that hand that blessed them, they would chop it off. You don't gave them your all, even in ministry. You don't done all to help build them. And I look around with me. I have built more people in ministry than they have ever built me. I have undergirded more people in ministry than they have ever did for me. I have just poured into more folks and they had it in their power to do for me. And they did. And they looked for the opportunity. They were waiting to see if I was going to survive. They were waiting to see if I fall. And sometimes they would just stay around me so they could be a copycat demon. So I'm staying around so I can get your idea and I can take it and I can run with it. And so it was just always wrong motives. And that's sometimes what makes us peel back and say, I'm walking by myself right now till God sends some people with me. I just want to do this. I've had preachers that will come and stay in your house and then tear your ministry up. I had a lady, I had them got a rental car. I had them put her in a hotel. We blessed her with big offering, not little offering. That woman came down here and told the little ministry I had up. And it's like, that's just like, this is my child. Whether I be good or bad, he increase. They'll tell you, that mama, I ain't going nowhere. Sometimes you should be so connected to your leader. You should be so connected to the people that have poured into you. That's like, I give honor and praise to Apostle Mott. Apostle Mott come all the way from North Carolina. We may go through some stuff sometimes, but she shows that support. You know what I'm saying? She'll show me I got you. She'll show me I got your back. She ain't going to come down here and tell nothing. She'll come down here and put it together. But you get some people, and they see that folks are with you, and the next thing you know, they tan up, and then they got your people, and they gone. Now, I can tell you one thing. You can't make him leave me. He'll be mad. Mama don't make me mad. You leaving? He like the disciples. Where would I go? You know what I'm saying? He ain't going nowhere. Chris ain't going nowhere. And that's how we should be with people that are connected. Don't be so easy to jump out the boat. Don't be so, I've had ministry where they were so easy to run behind somebody just came in the city. You didn't even know them folks. And I was blessing the folks. You didn't even know it. They thought that they had it going on. Ran behind them folks. Them folks dogged them out and then left them. Left them. And then they ain't had nobody. What they want to do then? Come back to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you can't let them come back. It's like, no, you don't did what you did. Bye.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to close that.
Real talk. Let's talk. Sometimes they show you just who they are. They don't did what they done. You don't jumped out the boat running with folk you don't even know. And when them folks don't did you wrong, it ain't no turning around.
Yeah.
I love you, but it ain't no turning around.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was watching a segment one time, and it said, when people show you who they are, you need to believe them the first time. And so I think that sometimes in our life, the Lord will allow us to go through certain seasons where it may seem like we have no one in our corner, but, during that, sometimes it's better to run alone than it is to run with a pack.
Yes.
Because it's during those times that you're able to really get the revelation that you need and kind of develop that discernment that you need to identify who your friends really are and what category you need to compartmentalize them in. It doesn't necessarily mean that every friend that you may know that one of your friends is a two-headed snake, like Kenneth. But you know what? You have to know where to place them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an automatic cutoff, but you just need to know how far, you're going to allow that person to, allow them to go with you, if you're going to keep them in your life, and know kind of when you're going to engage them and when you need to kind of keep them at bay. You know what I mean? There's friends that I have that I'm not a big phone person. So I've had friends that say, oh, you're not a good friend because you don't call and sit on the phone and talk to me every day for 2 hours, but I am that friend that when something goes down and you need a friend the most, I'm the one that's going to show up first, and so that's what I mean by we need to be able to take a step back and really evaluate our friendships and know who's really there, because sometimes the ones who may not necessarily seem like they're there is the one that's going to show up first when you're in a crisis. And the ones that are there running with you every day because you have something that they need or they want, when you're in a time of crisis, they're the ones that's not going to be around. They say misfortune shows those who are your true friends.
I think going through will show you.
Yeah.
And then you be with people long enough, it's just like you say, phone call. Kenneth ain't going to answer the phone every time I call him. But if I put 911 on there, he going to show up. But just because he don't answer the phone when I call, don't mean he ain't my son and he don't love me.
Right.
But the substance of when he do show up, You see what I'm saying?
That's
That the substance of when your friend do show up. If it is a situation, if I see you in a situation, if I saw his car broke down, I'm not gonna ride by him.
Yeah. I believe in
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, what we see, a lot of times people been with us enough to see that you're hurting, see that you're going through, see that you're in need, see your situation. There are some things he said when you see your brother and sister in need, and then you shut up your bowels of mercy, and then you say the love of God dwells within. I see that you're going through. He may say I may see the gas needle, and I know he ain't got no more money. He ain't got to say, "Can I have it?"
Right.
You just give it to him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I saw that. And sometimes people see your struggle and step over you. See, this like I was saying with me going through the little slight depression. I had a little slight situation. I was going through, I was crying and just acting up, and I was in a situation. But no one saw that. Is it all right sometimes for me to act up? Is it all right sometimes for me to be sad? Is it all right sometimes for me to cry? Is it all right sometimes for me to say, I don't want to be bothered? Is it all right sometimes for me to say, I don't feel like this no more? Is it all right for me sometimes to just step back? But is it all right? Can I just be Lisa sometimes? Can I just be Lily sometimes? Can I just say, I'm mad, I'm angry, I don't want to be bothered, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed? Is it all right for me to do that? Is it all right? Like I tell them sometimes, don't come in here, call me before you come. And they'll get mad because I be putting notes on the door. But they're going to come anyway. They're not going to stop because my emotions is haywire now. What you doing in here? Why you didn't call me? They just going to keep on doing what they do because it's all right for me to act up sometimes. But when you got a friend and you can't never act up, you can't never be you can't never show out. I don't need no friend like that because I show out sometimes.
Right.
Don't I show out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Don't I show out?
Yeah, sure.
I show out. And he said, leave her. Usually he'll say, leave her alone. She all right. Leave her alone. She all right. But he understands. Chris will tell you, Lisa's showing out today. I have my moments.
I think that's a good spot to stay at for a minute because, I done found myself in so many. You, as a leader, as somebody that's in a professional work setting, somebody that have a lot on their workload, somebody that's in charge, have a great responsibility. So many times we have to smile all the time, and we have to give words of encouragement to everybody else, and be ready on the drop of a dime to pray or minister or do whatever people want us to do. And you have to have a friend that you can have an outlet with. Somebody that you can call and tell them that I'm scared.
Yes.
Yes. It's like Mama said, is it okay that I be scared? Is it okay that for a brief second I thought about something crazy because I'm going through, For a brief second I thought about what if I do this or I do that. We have to have an outlet to be ourselves. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, nobody ever asked me, do I think about suicide? And I told him, I said, I fight that demon about 3 times a week. I said, but nobody never asked me, do I think about it?
That's deep down.
I say, I just come to realize that I still struggle so hard with everything I've seen my mom do and everything I've seen people do over a period of years, kind of like a person that's been in the military and been in war and seen combat. So I still struggle with the some of the dreams, but with that on my back, I still have to carry the weight of family. I still have to carry the weight of being a leader. I still have to carry the weight of being a life coach. I still have to carry the weight of being a minister. I still have to carry the weight of being a business owner. I still have to make sure that I keep the business going so that my workers, families can eat. So not only am I carrying my weight, but I'm carrying the weight of every worker I got to make sure that the doors stay open so their families can be fed.
Amen.
So, and keeping fresh ideas to whereby my business don't get stale, that we able to go forward and stay on top You know, so it's a great responsibility that a leader have.
Right.
And those type of people need certain type of friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And then that friend that, I love my supervisor. I got a supervisor. Dre, if you watching this, I love you. So, Dre always keep me balanced. But like Kenneth said, you have that thought. When I was in a state, I come from a lineage of cussers. My grandma used to cuss. My people used to cuss. And sometimes I think, what if I just cuss everybody out today to get their attention? I mean, you say that thought. So sometimes that thought come, what if I just go in here and I just show out and I just start throwing everything and just cuss them out? Would that get their attention? But you know, my supervisor always say, be good, Miss Felisha. Don't act up, Miss Felisha. Don't do that, Miss Felisha. Dre always got that right word for you. She always got that encouraging word. But like you say, sometimes I'm in ministry full time. When I get off on work, I go right into ministry, Monday through Friday. And sometimes even during the week, on the weekend. You know, I got counseling, I got coaching. So, and then I work, and then I work with special needs. And then I got my daughter, I got my grandchild, I got 11 God kids, you know. So it's just like somebody's always pulling. But like you say, sometimes we need someone to be there for us. Sometimes we need someone to say, okay, it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. It's okay to be you. Sometimes we need someone to call and say, don't just start talking. Yeah. How you doing? You know, sometimes people get on the phone and they're going to tell you everything they got going on. And then, like Kenneth say, did I ask you how you doing?
Right.
And even when I ask you, I'm going right back to telling you what I got going on. And then there's some people, they feel like we Jesus. Especially you a minister and a coach. And so it's like, I think that you can solve my problem. So I just want to dump everything on you and go. And then I don't come back until I want to dump some more on you. So I just say in this season, we have to be the friends that we want.
Yes. Yes.
Give, and it shall be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
Yes.
And I always say, if you give clothes, you probably got a lot of clothes in your closet because that's what you gave. If you give food, you probably got a lot of food and you're never hungry because that's what you gave. If you give love and kindness, you'll always have kids and love around you because that's what you give. I say I should never be hungry. I should never be broke. I'm a tither and I'm a giver because I give money. And that's why money always find me. I'll never be homeless because people are always here because I always open up my home. So whatever you want, that's what you need to give. And if you need a good friend, you ought to be a good friend. Whatever you give out, that's what you're going to give back. Even understanding. A lot of times we could be so critical. We could be so judgmental. We could be so, what's the word, Kenneth? When people just always just begrudging, begruntled. And if you are like that, that's what you're going to have. You ever had those friends that they ain't never had a good day?
Oh, yeah.
And they call you, ain't nothing ever right.
Yeah.
Is something always going wrong? It's always a problem. That's it. I'm in this season where I'm peeling back from that. Because I've taken so much of that now I need to be somewhere where I can be refreshed, restored, and renewed. This is a refreshing season, a restoring season, and a renewed season. The friends that come in, they need to revive, send refresh in the land. Seriously.
Yeah. Those friends keep you drained.
They do.
They keep you drained. You wonder why you having to pray double time. You having to study double time because you pulling an empty wagon behind you.
Because they ain't never got no word for
They
you.
never got nothing.
They ain't gonna never bless you.
Yeah.
Never. And when they hit you with their load of problems and they complain, you gonna try to redirect their energy and tell them, well, somebody doing better than you. Oh, I don't know about that, child. I got it real bad. This and that. Everything you say positive, they turn it negative.
Yes.
And you find yourself after a while feeling just as bad as they feeling.
Right.
And they've been drawing you. And every day they call you.
It's something wrong.
They got something going on, something wrong. Till you get to the point where you start dodging their phone call. Or you see them on there, oh, Lord, not again. I sure don't want to hear this. But they love calling you because they pulling from you. They won't call nobody else that got just as bad a day as they got. They want to call somebody that had a better day than them so they can pull from your day.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want to call somebody that had a better day than them so that they could pull from your day.
Yes.
They can't pull nothing from somebody that they had a day just as bad as them.
Or worse.
Or worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ain't gonna never sow in you.
That's what I was just
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's go. And you know, the season that God got me in, I'm just so blessed, you know, with doing the Wake Up and Win with Apostle McRae. And some of the people that view, they don't even know you. And they'll be first one wanting your cash out so they can sow. And the people that's with you drain the life out of you. And you'll never say God told them to plant, to sow, or whatever. I always believe that you got to plant where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I always believe that you got to put something in the ground so that you can get something out of it. You can't go up. Paul said, my God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory. There's an account in glory. You can't get nothing out of that account if you don't put nothing in it. And that's even with folk. They say I got my baby spoiled. I got him spoiled because I need him. So I can't always pull out of him. And I need you to do this. And I need you to do that. And I need you to do that. I got to pour something back into him in order to get back. And it's my good pleasure. Like Jesus says, it's his good pleasure to be a blessing. It's my good pleasure to bless my kids, all my kids, because they're good to me. It's my good pleasure because I know they are my resources. I'm getting older now. I need them. So I got to invest in them. I can't just always say, I need you to come do this here. I need you to come do that. I want you to do this here. I may not be able to give them everything, but I have to give them something. You know, and sometimes we don't want to give nothing.
Yes, yeah. I also think that this is a season where, you know, we need to be able to kind of take a step back and identify quality over quantity. You know,
quality over quantity.
You know, just like you said, and just like Kenneth was saying, you know, sometimes it's so easy for us to allow, we have so many friends that can be in our circle where all they do is just pull and take and take and take until there's nothing left for them to take. And before you know it, you're in the same position as they are, or even worse, you know, because there's nothing that's being poured back into you, you know, in the friendships. So I think that that's something that we really have to be mindful of in this season, is being able to take a step back and really just working with quality friendships and not so much looking for, you know, a ton of friends or a ton of friendships and just running with this one and that one and that one. You know what I mean?
Quality over quantity. Real talk, let's talk. Straight talk, let's talk. I pray this has been a blessing. I'm going to turn it over to my son to just let him just give the end remarks. But I pray that this has been a blessing to you. I pray that you will find yourself, you know, just identifying what type of people that you got on your side. I pray that God will heal you and God will heal the broken relationships. And even in this pandemic, God will send you just what you need. And God will put the right people in the right place with you. And that you'll be able to reap a harvest from that you have planted. If you have planted friendship, I pray that God will give you good friends. If you have planted sisters, I pray that God will give you good sisters. If you have planted to be a mother or to have a mother, that God will give you exactly what you need in this season. But God will allow you to be able to walk away from toxic. God will allow you to be able to walk away from rejection and abuse. And that God will heal you everywhere you hurt. This has been Real Talk, Let's Talk. Straight Talk, Let's Talk. What the church is not talking about. This is Apostle McRae. I love you, Tandy B. And we're going to just let Kenneth just give us some remarks and let him close us out, okay? Love you.
I'm so happy. Listen, it's been a wonderful time right here with my mother and our special guest, Tandy, here. We want to say that we love you. We want to say that we hope that you recover and that you come out of whatever it is that the enemy has been dragging you through. I want you to understand that whatever friend got a yoke around your neck that's keeping you from going in the right direction, that's keeping you in Lodi Bar, that's keeping you at the basement level of your life, I decree right now in the name of Jesus that every yoke be destroyed, every stronghold be broken. I believe you're going to live the rest of this year by living your best life, shaving off your backside, those people that just been trying to hold you around your waist and keep you from making it to the finish line. You got the power to win. You got the power to be better. And it's going to come with you going into a place of loneliness for a little while. And when you come out of that, you're going to see everybody for who they are. and their intentions. I want you to do something for me. I want you to pray that God will expose every fraudulent person in your life, and that he do it and do it in a quick work. And when he do it, I want you to receive it, and I want you to believe it, and I want you to change and make the adjustments in that area that you need to make. And until then, listen, we thank you again for viewing. We're going to be coming to you again real soon, and we ask that you put your comments, questions, or anything that you got to say or whatever in the comment box. And listen, do me one favor. While I still got you on here, I want you to take that finger and hit the share button so that somebody else can be blessed. We may answer some question that somebody have, and it's at your power, at your fingertips, where you can help them get their blessing through this broadcast. So do it now. Do it now. Hit that share button so that we can help reach more people. And again, we love you and we thank you. And we thank you for watching this broadcast. God
Real
bless.
talk, let's talk. Straight talk, let's talk. We love you. God bless you.